Welcome back, everybody. Hxro Labs live on a Friday in October. It's October 8th. Heading into the long weekend here in Canada town. I wish I had a flag like they did on PTI. That was dope. The markets being markets again, moving up. Nice to see. Always nice to see. You got to keep your cool though. High, low, up, down, sideways. Just try to stay level. If you can maintain your course mentally, behaviorally, through all the ups and downs, you stand a chance to outperform the rest, who are often like, and that's how dips form, right? Dips, candlesticks, it's all human emotion painted on the chart in candles. And I like to try to see myself on the chart, see those emotions on the chart, not react to them as much as possible. Although we're going to talk a little bit about today the recent dip on Bitcoin and really what that did to the market, how the majority of people likely played it just based on not having a plan and emotions, and frankly how I played it, somewhat in line with those emotions. I was thinking about it today. I was like, you know what? I don't know that I played that optimally. So let's reflect. We're going to take a look at that. Now look, I have no complaints. When I acknowledge a mistake, when I acknowledge something I could have done better, I'm not sitting here like, wah, I suck, I didn't do well. I'm doing okay, right? The month-over-month equity curve is up and to the right, and that's the goal. That's the only goal. I'm never going to nail it all. I'm never going to catch the bottoms, sell the tops regularly. Sometimes we do. And so did a little reflecting this week based on this little pivot we've seen, and I'll share with you guys what I learned there and all that. Now I'm looking in the chat here. I see a lot of familiar faces, so welcome back, guys. Great to have you. Austin Ledusky asks what song that was. That's Kid Francesco, and it goes Moon. It's called Moon, actually. The name of the song is Moon. It's a great tune. In fact, I'm going to start it again because I didn't really get to listen to it because I was prepping for the stream. So if you guys don't mind, hit me up in the chat with, is this music too high, too low? It should be background, but we also want to hear the tunes, man, because I picked them out for this stream. And this song is called Moon. So we like the moon. Yeah, I agree. Let's look at Joe today. Let's take a look at AVAX. Don't fall asleep on things just because they go into a lull. All of that shit that we got into in the last month is no less true today. It's just a matter of the path, right? The path has shifted perhaps from what a lot of people thought when they were buying in at $3 and $4. You think, well, we're going to 10. Sure, maybe. But the path is never straight. And we're going to talk a little bit about how that rush event turned into sell the news. Was it always destined to be sell the news? Or did we just buy it up way too high and then it came out and semi-disappointed? People realized, there's a lot of incentives in DeFi right now across many chains, and rush is not necessarily just going to be the de facto grab all. FTM is hot this week, arguably the next major rotation taking place right now over on Phantom. I am admittedly not that involved in that one. I was kind of tipped off to it in the earlier days. People saying, "Oh, check out Phantom. Look at this Spirit, blah blah." And I did. I picked up some Spirit. I've got a bag, but not. It was not like, here's all this AVAX juice and go shift it over there and just ride the full. I didn't do that, regrettably at this point, because I think it's flying over there. But like I said at the start, you can't catch them all, and I'm never gonna lose sleep over like doing better than I did another time before. But not being perfect. You know what I mean? I get fired up when I just have a better month than the one before, even if it wasn't a perfect month. It never will be. And after a few years, I figured that out. So let me pull up AVAX. My view on AVAX hasn't really changed for now. Super bullish long term, arguably quite bullish midterm. Not that excited short term. We're going to show you why. Let's get to the charts. Chart Simpson in the chat. Good to see you, man. Joe is your second dad. Yeah, Joe. I know you got a bag of Joe, man, and you've held through pretty well, as far as I can tell. Not that I'm watching your wallets, but based on your tweetage, I would say you are still in your bag of Joe, and perhaps made a trade here or there. But look, this was my thinking when the wedge broke down, and I'll be honest, when it popped up here and there was a little bit of market structure on lower time frames, I did buy back some. That was my little buy stop we talked about. And I went up here and I said, oh my gosh, it's happening. And then it dropped back down. I said, oh no, got faked out. Counter to my own analysis, So I cut the bag again. Small loss. Okay, no big deal. Let it drop. Let's get down into this reload zone. Let's get back down to this POC, the VPVR. So many acronyms. That's the point of control. That's where the most volume's traded. It should act as strong support, regardless of all the lines and crap that I draw on my chart. That's just where there's going to be a lot of buyers if we get there. The moving averages here on the 12-hour. This is the 12-hour. They have flipped bearish. This is a really nice little kind of lower time frame trend following system. It's not like the 50 and 200 that a lot of people look at. These are the 12 and 26 EMAs. They tend to track little trends pretty well. You know, a little bit of a cross here, which I don't trade these religiously, but when I see them flip after like a multi-week rally, and then I see the retest here, I just think, okay, we're not out of the woods yet. Checking on the chat to see if there was any comments on the music. Nice tunes, man. Okay, good. Nice tunes is good. Just want to make sure they're not too loud. Sounds like they're not. I like low volume profile. Oh, no, different kind of volume. Okay, we're good. Spell made a lot of people's ears, Crypto Foe. And we should talk about Spell and Ice, of course. Those are my largest positions. Getting larger, it's like, you know, sometimes you just get into a position and suddenly it's your biggest bag. That is the beauty of a bull market. You know, you can allocate 5% to something or whatever amount, and suddenly it takes up half your portfolio. You're like, what do I do? So we'll talk a bit about, I mean, how I'm playing that, not how you should do it. Everyone's situation is a little different, right? My risk tolerance on those two is particularly high, mostly because of the vision I have for, you know, what they are, what they will become. And I don't think it's a big secret, that vision. I think it's something that Danny has been painting beautifully on Twitter. The idea of, you know, flipping other stable coins, taking over, occupy DeFi. He's not going to stop. He's got his foot on the gas. And I was thinking about it this morning. Is there anybody in crypto moving as fast and as hard as he is outside of maybe like Sam Bankman-Fried? You know, I feel like the CEX is just dominated by Sam Bankman-Fried right now, SBF, the homie. And in the DeFi world, like, is he SBF of DeFi? That's what I was thinking about this morning. Secret too. Yeah, Secret's moving. I don't know what it is, guys. I feel like we're running hot. And I say we because half my ideas come from people that watch this stream. So not to, like, you know, condescend and be like, I know they're my ideas, but we're all here together. We're not here together. You're not here to copy trade me. Don't fucking play. But I just, as a squad, I know there's a lot of good chat going on in the pit, trading pit. And we're, like, generally speaking, we're on point right now. We get the AVAX rotation, a lot of us. Even managed to get out of it, you know, at a pretty decent bid. Thinking about sell the news was on the menu. And for those of you who rotated into the FTM eco this week, congrats. I think that's going really well for you, probably. You know, what was it? The geisha thing. Like, look at this. Ugh, it was so gross too. It was on, like, this is a 12-hour. I don't know why I'm on the 12-hour. Never really sit there. Throws me off. Right here. What was it? Well, the morning. So I guess it was here. I don't know. It was like, it was moving, and I was just like, damn it. I don't have an entry here by my kind of trading. Like, I just can't. And I looked over my fiance in bed and I just showed her the chart. I was like, babe, this is gonna go. I was like, this is gonna go, and I can't buy it. I have to follow my rules. My rules are more important than any one little rally or whatever. And I've gone down the rabbit hole the wrong direction before. And so anyways, I'm proud of myself for holding off, but damn, right around this candle, obviously it was already signaled even earlier, but it was here that I noticed it, and I was like, shit, no, this thing's gonna go to $3 or whatever it is. So anyways, FTM moving hard. There's a lot of eco plays over there that are probably gonna roll with it. I heard some murmurs today that the network was starting to hit the load. So I just feel like, you know, can I get in there and make some noise? Can I get in there and catch some bumps and, you know, like, just ride waves? But I missed it. I missed at least the earliest part of it. And I suck at joining midway through a bigger thing. I often just think to myself, I missed it. Maybe in a month I look back and it's at like $8 and I'm like, okay, I was early. So we'll see. We'll see if there's pullbacks and stuff like that around. Let's check out Secret. Secret is one I'm pretty proud of because it was just, you know, it was like the forgotten, like, you know, dirty beaten redheaded stepchild. You know, nobody really wanted to hang out with Secret for the longest time. It's still fairly illiquid. So you're going to see some big swings on this thing, you know, whoop, whoo, like some one person exits and you might see a 30% retrace with size. But this is the chart that I've been watching on Twitter for, I don't know, the better part of a month now. Probably right here on the breakout. I think it was like 12. It's basically a month. And it's been cute. And it hasn't really let anybody in if you waited for the W on the other side of the trend line. I guess arguably one came in here. Very subtly here you had your higher high. What a sick signal. You know, get through that trend line, form market structure on the other side so you don't end up with one of these. Because those happen a lot, right? Waiting for that W on the other side, really important. And that was it, technically. If you wanted to say, like, I'm just waiting for that and then I'm going to buy the dip, boom, like, what a sick setup. I love when stuff goes like this. Now, caveat emptor, I don't know if that's the right application of that word, but this is a USD pair. It's just calculated. You can't actually trade it on USD. So maybe it wasn't so clean on the Bitcoin pair where I can actually trade it. Yeah, not as clean, right? But, you know, looking at what chart you're trading, a lot of people trading versus USD, even though you have to buy this with Bitcoin or Ethereum on Binance anyways. Now, on Secret Network, we should actually go look at the network. You know, it's not just a coin anymore. And that's the beautiful thing about 2021 and presumably 2022 and beyond, is that all of these white papers, all of these test nets, all of these mainnet launches where there's still no real action on the network, they're all turning into these ecosystems you can go play on. And they're incentivizing and they're creating products and there's DeFi. It's freaking awesome. So let's go look at the Secret. If you go to their website, there's an ecosystem tab. And this is it. Now, Sienna is another one I've mentioned before. They just went live recently and are a DeFi kind of DEX, swaps. They're going to be doing some liquidity mining. So there's rewards over there. I am loading up some of what I bought in the spring in a pre-sale through my fund. I'm going to be loading up. We invested in them back in the spring. And we're excited. You know, I'm gonna fire this up. This was a big part of why I was bullish on it right now. Just because finally there's something to use over there, right? So I'm excited for that one. I think, you know, Secret Swap, where is it? Secret Swap here. They had an exploit recently, and that's why they had to go from sort of like V2 to V3 in the whole Secret network. They relaunched it. So click the bridge if you want to bridge over there, you know, at your own risk, all this stuff. It's a little confusing coming from EVM, you know, over to Kepler, Cosmos, Atom, all that kind of ecosystem. It is a little different. So full disclosure, there's a learning curve. And I'm still on that learning curve somewhere near like, you know, the 20% mark. But this is the ecosystem kind of click and play. And as you can see, not a whole lot there. It's pretty small, right? So I think there's a lot of room for growth. I'm excited about it. I think DeFi plus privacy makes more sense than just about any other two combinations in the space. And I don't see a future long term where DeFi is just going to stay transparent. Just look on Twitter, right? All the different things like Alameda just bought, you know, $200,000 worth of Spell last week. Like, do you think they want that known? Maybe there's some psyops because they know they can't hide it anyways, but wouldn't it be ideal if they could be building positions in secret? Secret, right? So I think it's a no-brainer that we'll see a privacy network win. It's just a matter of like, will it be secret or will it be like a privacy layer 2 on top of something else that's, you know, full transparency is great in some ways and not optimal in others. You know, if I send somebody money from my bank, like I don't really want them to see my balance. I don't want them to know that I have $400 to my name or vice versa. Like, you just, privacy is good. So yeah, that's my take on Secret, and it's moving along. And I'm not, you know, I'm not like, ooh, Chaos PRZ, like here, like I'm staked. I'm this one. Look at this chart. www.moonbeam.com. Like, this thing just looks like it wants to rally in Q whatever 2022. I just think, you know, like, look at that. Now that's versus Bitcoin. So can Bitcoin rally here and we draw all the way back down into like a reload zone? Yeah, that's totally possible. Would suck. But Secret's also relatively small, so there's going to be some outperformers based on just growth from their tiny little puny zone. So that's what I'm hoping for. But at this moment, we're at resistance here. But I'm staked, and I'm earning that way. I think it's something like 29% a year just in more Secret tokens, so that's cool. And then it's 22-day unlock, so a little risk there, but I'm really in this one for a fat old swing. And then Siena's launched now, and there's going to be some liquidity mining there, like secret Siena pairs. So I'll probably stake the rest there and just LP. And we'll see. We'll see how the DeFi goes here. Let's get back to the chat. Okay, yeah, Ian Euler says there's been no problems operating on FTM today, so might just be an anomaly. Oh yeah, we're gonna look at Woo. Chart Simpson says, let's look at Woo. Now you're a fan of it, still looks really good. Probably adding soon. Yeah, I should take a look at Woo. You know, God, look at time. Can we all just have a moment and just say, wow. Big fat dump the other day. What was it, like 2 nights ago? And it was funny, it was like somebody, it was really weird. They had 300 memos, so a pretty sizable bag, and they just dumped 1/3 of it in this nuke candle, and it was kind of like, you're dumping, you know, like you can offload that very quietly. Why would you nuke your own chart and then not even sell the other bits? Like, it was just kind of a strange behavior. Then someone else nuked 500 mil worth, and then there was like a few panic sells of 100,000 worth each, and then it was just like, no you don't, and we'll see you later. So they jumped off the train, probably licking their wounds today. This thing is just, I don't even know what to say. You know, it feels like a dream every day I wake up. I'm like, is it still going? Not that I think it's going to stop. I just can't friggin' believe it. It's just incredible to have 44,000% APY and a holder base that is generally buying into the math, which frankly is pretty favorable. That even if there was some kind of 70-80% drawdown over time, the staking rewards outweigh that over a 90-day period, whatever it is. So, you know, no guarantees for management. I don't know how any of this stuff will ever end, ever. But the block, was it Blockmates? His article really breaks it down nicely. It's on my Twitter. Anyways, quick stop over at time, which apparently only moves in one direction, in physics and in price for now. Up only, it would appear. Where were we just going? Oh yeah, Woo. Woo! Woo's a fun one to say. Oh shit, moving today. Hot damn. Yeah, look at that. Now every time I refresh my browser, I lose my charts on here because this is not TradingView, it's just a widget. So just bear with me here. It's a pretty simple chart, won't take long. Basically just a little trend line. You know, kind of like wedging along here, consolidating, crunching, compressing rather, and it looks like we've just begun an expansion. Now, if we just leaked out of the top here, right? Am I that excited? No, but look what we've got. We've got a big blast of new buy volume. So it's kind of, if you zoomed in here, I bet we would see that this is relatively large, signaling something coming, right? And so you get that buy volume waking up. And yeah, each candle coincides with actual green on the chart too, but you know, here, price moved up a bit, a little bit of volume, signaled the breakout. Other times, price moves up a bit, and there's no real volume behind it. It actually does happen. We don't look at it very often because we're always looking at the ones where it's significant volume, but this is significant volume. So I bought some, didn't add here. Been distracted with other things this week, kind of loading up on some other stuff, you know, moving things around, doing some yield stuff, CVX, CRV, trying to get into position. Perhaps a little bit influenced by the homie Messi, who, by the way, retirement's a strong word. I think he's pivoting more accurately because he's not going anywhere. So, you know, but I think it's a reasonable thing. He's basically saying, I'm not going to sit around here 80% exposed to things that go 80% up and down in a day. Rather, I'm going to set up my life around a passive income stable base, and trust me, he still has degen exposure, just maybe not the amount that no one should ever have. So, but that was an emotional Shitcoin Church this week. Some of you guys mentioned that in the chat. I agree. It felt like a big goodbye, and I think it was just the end of an era and perhaps a maturation of him as a market participant, which is something that, frankly, I need to do as well. I'm nowhere near at his level of success, if you want to call, like, you know, not sitting here naming numbers, but I rent my house. Like, you know, I'm working on it still. I'm in grind mode. But even then, you know, you don't have to wait till there's some ultimate goal to protect capital. I think everything he said on that stream about just like winding down a little, protecting some capital, I think that's something that everyone can probably benefit from. It's certainly not like, you know, risk everything until you make some ridiculous big number and then protect it. Protecting along the way. Swing Riser, what's up, man? Good to have you. How can you chart time on TradingView? You can't, but you can go to chartx.pro And if they still let you for free, you can chart just about whatever you want here. It reads all the dexes like Trader Joe, whatever the heck JetSwap is, QuickSwap, PancakeSwap. Not every single thing, but you know, Uniswap, Sushi, all the good stuff. Now at first, the last month, Trader Joe access was free. If it's not, you do have to buy some, what's it called? Chart tokens. They have their own token. In fact, we should chart because it was looking good last I checked. Oh, it's not the one though. We want Uniswap. There it is. Look at chart. This actually looks pretty good as far as like, you know, buying quiet things that have bullish, because you know everyone uses this that I know. It's a very popular one. I think there's a few others, but this one's very popular. And if they're doing a 30-day trial for AVAX users and now that's over, AVAX users who still want to see their charts, they're going to have to buy chart token. So I don't know the dynamics, you know, the supply, demand, and all that, the tokenomics, but I think this one actually, somebody messaged me about it the other day. I was like, you know what, I should just go get some. It's like I own some because I want the membership, but like that's, I'm not selling that. I need that, and that's good tokenomics right there. That's it. Maybe there's something here. Breakout, volume, trickle down into what you know what it is. It's the reload zone. We're down in the reload zone after a breakout of volume off the lows. That's typically where I like to buy. So we'll see. I don't know what the liquidity's like, you know, unlock schedule, any of that, but look into that. I'm gonna put that on my list actually. Atlas was the last one on my list. We should look at that today too. I think it's doing well. I sold half. It took a little profit off. Not on a double. It was just a good move, and you know, Bitcoin going crazy. I thought I'm gonna get paid today. Just sell some of my action on Atlas, even though I think it's gonna go much higher. Most likely, everything is this quarter. I mean, really, if Bitcoin rallies and alts, you know, like, there's no situation where Bitcoin just goes to the moon in Q4, you know, heads to new highs, price discovery, and then everything else just never follows. It may not follow right away, and if I'm sitting 90% in altcoins, especially like greasy utility coins sitting on, you know, Binance that trade against Bitcoin on high volume with bots, they are going to get washed. We should look at some BTC pair charts and look for some bearish targets, because if Bitcoin goes into price discovery, those pairs will get rinsed. However, after a long time, after everyone's capitulated those positions, after everyone's jumped on the Bitcoin train, you can't even remember what it feels like for altcoins to be cool, like January 2021, that's when we can start looking for bullish divergence. That's when we can start looking for, you know, this kind of thing trickling down into reload zones, getting ready to turn around, a little buy volume coming back, and then I get excited. We can deploy some of that. I can deploy some of that Bitcoin back into those alts, and we should possibly end up with some of the most rip-faced ridiculousness we've ever seen. So yeah, sorry, we're gonna look at Atlas. It's sitting in the PCZ right here. You know, there's resistance here, arguably still resistance, so let's color it appropriately. Red equals bad unless you're short. But you know, break up off the lows, volume. Now on the recent high, we got the highest volume, so that does not look like exhaustion to me. Coming down in here pretty clean. It's intense music, damn. I'll turn that down a little bit in my ears. Okay, bass drop here though. There it is. Okay, drop it into the reload or the PCZ, confluent with this little 618 of the higher time frame, right? This is a nice spot, and it's a little bit below where I took profits the other day on some of my positions. So maybe I get back in. I don't know, because if we break out of this, let's see what the momentum. I bet it's rolling over. Yeah, you know, take it with a grain of salt. Made a higher high here. RSI nowhere to be found. So maybe we have a little more cleaning up to do. Maybe I'm overthinking it now. You know, sometimes you just look at a chart, you get a good idea, you say, yeah, that's bullish, this is a good spot. And then you're like, oh, but wait, there's the Gann study. Wait, there's this. Wait, there's that. More and more over time, I've tried to just learn to keep it simple. Overanalysis paralysis is a thing. I suffered from it a lot in 2020. Missed a lot of great plays in otherwise very bullish markets because I was trying to pip things off certain exact levels or not getting them just because I missed the first 2% or something. I've learned to move past that a little bit. Perhaps a sign of maturity. Size down if you need to, kind of thing, and then you can get in, even if it's a little bit early or a little bit late. Okay. What was the thing? Like, let's just look at Solana. Now, I am not going to sit here and pick on Solana and say it's bearish, because Solana is super bullish. I'm very bullish on it. But let's look at what I see versus Bitcoin. And this is just one pair I'm picking on because I already charted the idea last week. But like, look, down. This is Solana versus Bitcoin, right? This is all we care about. Versus USD, Solana could go on a crazy run. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to move the chat closer to my face. Always like it's like way over there, and I'm always looking here, and I just zone out. Okay. Yeah. So I'm going to pick on Solana here simply because it does paint a very, different picture than perhaps the USD chart. Look, down, up, down, breakdown. This is a bearish market structure now. Arguably it was back here, right? You have a high, lower high, breakdown. This was more like a squeeze. So this really is a bearish retest right now versus Bitcoin. So does that, exactly what does that mean? Does that mean Solana is going to go down versus USD and Bitcoin down too, but not as much? Like, who cares? Point is, if I want to be deployed into Bitcoin or altcoins, I need to be aware of what that could mean. And so if Bitcoin's going to go ham sandwich, right? If we're just going to move up from here and just blast off, I don't really have a good high time frame Bitcoin chart right now. What the hell's wrong with me? Oh yeah, this is what we're going to talk about today. This is what a lot of people do. This is how the market often will play you. Anyways, I'm getting distracted here. Let's go back to Solana. So this is something like I could see this across altcoins versus Bitcoin. If we get into that kind of season where we get above this 20-week moving average, whatever that looks like, do we go ham? Do we go crazy, or do we just go in this consolidation range? That would be ideal. Altcoins could really do some damage if we just kind of lived. That's actually like October next year, so probably not. This is a weekly, but yeah, if we get into like even just that could be really painful. Like a test of that weekly resistance, kind of a level that comes all the way back here. If, right? All these ifs. Point is, this is not a buy for me on any planet. There's no planets where I'm looking at that chart and I'm saying, ooh, nice bearish breakdown, bearish retest. I'm going to take my Bitcoin and trade it away for that thing. It's just not there. So that's Solana. I do hold some Solana. I do hold some Bitcoin. Full disclosure. But I am in the kind of, I'm in the camp of like, let me stop taking on tons of more altcoin exposure and start thinking about how I can shift myself towards Bitcoin, because let's be honest, it's looking extremely bullish. And it hasn't for quite some time. Here's the other thing. We're almost in this like paradigm where there's a lot of people in crypto who don't even remember what it feels like for Bitcoin, or don't ever, never experienced it, for Bitcoin to be popular, for Bitcoin to be trending up in dominance. I mean, if you joined crypto in 2021, you've only ever existed in a downtrend on Bitcoin dominance. Let's think about that for a sec while I hit this vape and read the chat. Keo Dark, that's a great idea. Let's talk about that today. He asked, if you miss a break in thesis and end up with a significantly underwater bag, what strategies do you use to get out? Yeah, let's talk about that. Now, look, if, like right up here, I distinctly recall this chart because I was charting it on Twitter and I was talking about it and I was just thinking, I think it was like Dan Crypto, D-A-A-N Crypto, great analyst, and he alluded to this being kind of a top, like the idea of like sweep the highs as if that's a thing on dominance, whatever, and then dump. He's like, this is probably the place to load up on alts, and I was like, damn, you know what? It doesn't feel like it is, because for like 6 months we had been just charging higher, Bitcoin 65K, whatever. Well, this is in January, so not quite. Point is, the whole world was like Bitcoin max is here and altcoins are stupid. You're an idiot if you're holding altcoins trying to get, make it. So the sentiment was extreme. And now look what we got. So, and here the sentiment has been very extreme, almost like complacent with altcoins, like, oh yeah, a little dip here and there, but whatever. But, Bitcoin's trash, L1s are the future. Careful, right? There's corporations, there's institutions, there's massive companies, and there are now countries who are accumulating this. The global, wealth reserve. There's evidence that gold bugs are now preferring Bitcoin over gold itself. How much of that do we steal? We talked a bit about it on Wednesday. So there is a narrative here that doesn't even touch altcoins that could absolutely moon Bitcoin. And that's okay. That's liquidity that will cycle through the market over time. But don't ever think that it just can't happen because it hasn't this year. That's I guess what I'm trying to say. So every day that goes by, I'm sliding more and more into the almost like risk off with altcoins, even though versus USD, I think a lot of them will just still do really well. I just know what it feels like, specifically from here. Yeah, this was very painful. We had an alt season, kind of, was it? This is July. Yeah. So we had sort of an alt season through this, right? This is dominance dropping, right? This was the start of 2017. I joined somewhere, right around here. I think I FOMO'd into the market and all coins were just going bananas and it was a good time. Just like this. Actually, this is interesting, little fractal here. So just like this, I had never known a place. First of all, I didn't know about this chart. I had never known a market where Bitcoin dominance wasn't plummeting. And then right around here through, the Bcash fork and all that. And then this fall, I remember this. This was awful. All coins were just getting washed out across the board. ETH BTC plummeting, way down. Bitcoin rallying to 20K. And then on December 17th, the futures went live. Bitcoin topped and then it dropped and all coins went bananas. I think it was December 7th actually marked the low on ETH BTC, and it just went when we just got 100x's across the boards. So if we fast forward to now, kind of forming a little thesis here, do we get, are we here? Are we here right now? And we need to be careful where we came in, came up, came down, tested the low, and now we're ready to just squeeze the shit out of alts for a little bit while Bitcoin breaks to new highs and goes on to a crazy blow off top. That looks like what we might get. That's basically what I'm thinking. And then, the good stuff, the icing on top, the cherry on top, do we just end up going into next year, end of the year, whatever it is? I think I have a new thesis as far as aligning those two incidences. Make no mistake about it, guys. We are, if you are one to think that Bitcoin has to move in 4-year cycles, we are at the end of a 4-year cycle, right? 2018 or 2017, the end of the last one. 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. So what does 2022, 23 look like? And then the 24 happening? I don't know. I'm not saying 2-year bear market. I think it could be different this time. I really do. It is objectively very different. But if we do all this stuff, if we get frothy into the end of the year, if I'm in a position to say I made it, oh buddy, you better believe I'll be taking risk off the table, big time. Okay, too many lyrics in this tune. Great tune though. I'm gonna go with Deep House Relax. Let's see what that is. Ooh, I like this tune. So yeah, there's my rants, guys. We're gonna look at some altcoins. ICX we'll definitely look at. That's actually one of the 100x's I hit in 2017 during this. This was ICX going 100x. It launched, it was like a 15 cent or 6 cent ICO, I forget, in October, and then in December it came out and it was trading at $2.80 and it quickly ran to $14. It was my first FU 100x. It was so incredible. So yes, we will look at ICX. We're gonna look at a lot, guys. I'm gonna start getting into the chat. I've kind of shared my rants now. I think that's it for big rants. Oh, there was that question, that really good question. Damn, I'm so all over the map. You guys are great though. Keep it up with the chats. Really appreciate the engagement here today. And if you haven't already and you want to like this, I see 147 wunderbar viewers hanging out here today and 27 likes. Reach up with your little mouse and like me, because that's going to keep me on the air longer and stronger. Dude, I forget. Oh, damn. I lost you in the chat. What was that question? It was good. I feel like you had a pink name. Might be wrong. It was a good one. It's one we should talk about. Yeah, so many good questions, guys. I don't think we're going to get to everything today. We're going to do my best. Okay, Keo Dark asked, if you miss a break in thesis and end up significantly underwater, what do you do? What strategies do you use to get out? Look, TA can be a great way to get you out of a bad position. And that's, you can see it on the charts that a lot of people do that. It's, you know, ICX, BTC, why not? We'll use this. Right here. Okay. So I thought I could get long here. I thought I could get long here, says the man. No, wrong. Underwater, significantly underwater. But it gets back to their entry. They waited and they sold here. That's why support turns into resistance. That's the psychology playing out. That's that human emotion playing on the chart. Support becomes resistance because people who were underwater from that level maybe didn't get their stop loss off, whatever, but they're back to break even. Psychologically, they're like, okay, that nightmare's over. Now I'm going to get the fuck out. We go down. That's one way to do it. But obviously, things can go down and not come back up and retest that level. You have to be willing to take that risk. I'm going to tell you a quick story about somebody named Casper. Might actually be watching. I don't think so, but he's around. He was in a couple of Discords with me, and I think he's in the TRI Lounge now. Oh, now I'm going to tell this story. I probably shouldn't have said who it was. But anyways, man, shout out to him. He's been crushing it as far as I know this year. But a couple of years ago, he was much newer to it. And when we met, and I was kind of doing this, I was doing a bit of content, and he was like that. He was significantly underwater on a lot of coins. It was the bear market. And he just said, like, I'm not asking for financial advice, but like, what do I do? I'm stuck. I'm trapped. And I just told him this idea that, look, sometimes the best thing I've done when I'm in a bad position is just cut it. And I know people would be like, oh, no, you know, lacking conviction, paper hands, blah, blah, blah. Look, I don't give a fuck what they say. Like, they're not in my head. They don't have my situation, right? If I need to be out of a position because it's killing me, I can learn a lesson from it. I can say, okay, don't do that again. But I'm not going to live in a bad decision just because I made one. And here's the other thing, and this is an important part. You can always just get back in. Okay, let me say that again. I'm underwater. I'm not happy about this position. Usually it's at the bottom that you make the decision. But look, I get out. I sleep on it. I look around. Maybe I now have a better perspective because I am out of that emotional state of being underwater. I now see a cash balance in my account. That's now fresh cash. That is no longer an old position. You have to just detach. Now I can look at the chart objectively and I can say, oh, there's bullish divergence. Oh, it's in the reload zone. Oh, there's buy volume, there's buy volume coming in. Actually should be in that position. From here, as a new trade, that's a good position to be in, and then I can just re-enter. So that's one way to reset a bad situation. In this particular case, this individual nuked their entire portfolio, and they reset. They got a total new look at what they had, and he didn't enter for quite some time, and he just kind of stayed out. He made a plan. He reallocated when he finally did go back in, and a few months later, he messaged me. He's like, dude, I appreciate we had that chat because I would have been down like another 80% right now had I not just had the balls to like just take over, take control back. And that happens all the time, guys. You catch yourself in a bad position, and for one reason or another, you'll just hold it. And it's just like, it's not good. You kind of know it isn't, but then you go to the community Telegram and everyone's so bullish and they say, you're dumb if you sell. Don't go in those, man. Community Telegrams. Communities are great, but when you're asking for like everyone's just singing the same tune in those things. And they, here's the other thing. You go to any community Telegram for like a mostly dead coin and there's still guys in there that are like, I'm buying more. Like, there's a bottomless pit of community members in communities, and some communities outstanding. But like Ethereum Black. What's that, you ask? I don't know. Some scam coin back in 2017 when Ethereum Blue and Ethereum Black and all these stupid things that just came out, equivalent to kind of dog tokens, but didn't go 6 million%. And one of them 100x'd, and then, but like there was guys in there that were like, I'm all in on this coin. There was community members like even before it crashed. And then when it finally crashed, but then I went back into the Telegram months and months later, and it was just like, woo, woo, woo. And there's still guys in there that are like, yeah, maybe we're gonna get this released soon, and I'm just like, ugh, it's hard to watch. So I think TLDR on that whole conversation is, if I ever find myself in a bad position or I realize that I fucked up, I just get out. I just reset it. Don't care. Paper hands, don't care. Moons tomorrow, don't care. I just get out. if I shouldn't be there, I shouldn't be there, right? So I hope that helps, Keo. And for everyone else. Woo does look interesting. Use of market profile in this thing. The case of the futures market? Yeah, I don't know. ETF is official nod to TradFi to get into cryptos. It will be when all the big banks and smart boy hedge funds have their positions. They can let the herd into crypto. Yep. ETF will be a massive onboarding process for exposure to crypto. I agree with that. And then why not an Ethereum ETF? And frankly, why not some other ETF down the road, right? It's not just Bitcoin and ETH. That's kind of the paradigm we live in. Why not an ETF for 100 different altcoins by the end of the 2020s? I mean, really, guys, there's a zooming out kind of thing. If you ever have trouble zooming out in crypto, you know what you need to do? I'm going to show you right now. One of my favorite bits of macro analysis. Let's say the future fund strat, future crypto. Yeah, here we go. Look, this is an old video.
Jump to why Wall Street is going to care.
But I'm gonna share it with you today. Watch this some other time. Don't quit the stream to watch it.
So now let me jump to why. Next 20 minutes.
This is not about like, ooh, look at the prediction he made. It's gonna come true. It's not. It's objective analysis. He is looking at the. He's looking at sort of the long-term crypto, sort of like whatever you call it, generational rally. You know, he sees it as, you know, a generational asset class. And that's, frankly, that's kind of my view on it too, after watching that video probably 12 times in the last 3 years. But have a look at it. It's really interesting. And so when people are like, ooh, you know, this is dumping, this is going up. Yeah, I want to catch the swings, but I think we're going to have a really good decade. I really do. You know, even if that was going to mean, you know, dripping down into lower levels and then going up higher, like whatever that's going to be, I really think that if we zoom out, this is like a perp, so it doesn't even go back that far, but if we zoom out, like I think all the price action down in these levels is just going to look like, oh man, back in 2021, Bitcoin was so cheap. You know, that doesn't mean I'm taking unnecessary risk. It doesn't mean I'm layering on stupidity, but it's certainly the way I see things, so. I don't know why I started talking about that, but here we go. This was interesting. This is the psychology of it. If you don't have a plan, this is generally, you know, what the market did, right? If you were fortunate enough to be paying attention, after all this, you probably managed to secure a bag somewhere through here. And perhaps while we should have been, I say we, because I didn't really do much profit taking up there, but, you know, we get into this short reload zone. Whoops, this short reload zone. Get into the short reload zone. That's an area, if you were long from down here, that's an area where I should pay myself. Great trade, nice swing, right? That was like a 2-month long rally. And somebody did, because they nuked the books. And then take it down here. And then while I should probably be thinking about reloading, or whatever, where do people actually end up taking profit on average? On the emotional trader, right? The one who doesn't pay attention to anything but just likes to be like, ooh, I'll get more when it's looking good and I'll sell, take some risk off when it's looking bad. They end up here. They say, well, I've still got a little profit, right? Because they were getting in just below that. And they get out, they get out, they get out, and then it sends, right? So TA for me, trading for me, is about spotting levels where I probably should be taking some risk off or should be adding some risk on. And then not worrying about the middle, like, you know, if I get left behind, whatever. One way to make that a lot easier is not to try to be like, okay, I'm all in, I'm all out, I'm all in, I'm all out. Just take little bits, 5%, 10%. That's what I do now more and more. And it makes life so nice. Okay. I think I'm done with the teaching today, guys. Let's just go look at some charts. I mean, my usual, right? My usual mode. A little bit ranty. Lots of thoughts. But the feedback I get's pretty good overall, so we're going to stick to that generally. But let's get into some charts, guys. We kind of already looked at Woo. You know, I think one thing we could do over here on Woo Town is look for targets, you know, like where's this thing going to go to? First thing I would do is take that whole first rally and put a fib extension on it. You know, we have one big fat long leg. Where's the next leg maybe going to end up? Or at least where can I expect to see some resistance? So let's take a look at that. Oh, interesting. Well, I already wicked up there, but that's irrelevant because this level wasn't even set until over here. So that's just a coincidence. Fractals in nature. All right. So like, yeah, 225 would be the fib extension of this. So we have a leg, we've consolidated, go for another leg, ABCD kind of thing. You know, can we get here a little chaos PRZ? That'd be fun. Probably a little higher, might be close. Yeah. So that, you know, and then what I started doing this year is like creating little pockets. So I'll just be like, here it is, you know, and that's like, it's loose, but it gives me an area where I can be laddering or just waiting or whatever. Yeah, I think this kind of volume after this kind of consolidation on a coin like Woo, that does have some pretty favorable mechanics. You know, things like burning and choking supply as platform or whatever usage increases. I don't know that they do fee sharing. I'd have to look into that. I read about it the other day on their site and I forget, but it is one that's like Binance Coin in the sense that over time I can expect user growth to result in supply reduction. So I like that. So I've got a position, nothing massive or anything, but I like this one. It's a trade. I'm long, and this looks like a midterm breakout. You know, let's check back at whatever this is going to be, November, December. Is it going to be up there? I don't know. If I was a betting man, I'd say probably. But you know how these things go. Oh, popsicle. Yeah, let's go talk about ice. Ice. Look at ice. This is my view on ice. I just live on this chart now. I'm like, I'm going to stop trying to get into these nitty gritties and, you know, what am I going to like sell here to buy back here, but risk missing there. Like, I'm done trying to trade this thing. You know, I took like 3% off of my position because I bought it at like the start of my position was building, you know, mostly between $4 and $8. And it's just been explosive. Spell's been explosive. Time's been explosive. And I'd be an idiot not to at least keep that sort of habit of paying myself greased. But I'm so bullish on this thing. And I think it's so early. The platform's not even live yet. And I know that's cliche. And then maybe, oh, platform goes live and it's selling news. I don't think so. Because it's so based on fees. And not just like, ooh, you know, here's some inflation rewards. It's like, we're going to market buy more of this off the market with our profits and then distribute it. So I did take 3% off though. And frankly, I just felt gross about it. And I'm instantly looking for a reload area for that. And probably a little bit more, if I'm being completely honest. You know, 3% is nothing. It's like enough to say that I did my job, because I do, like I always say, like I gotta follow my rules. But it's not like, you know, I still have a pretty good position here. This is probably like the best bet I can hope for, with kind of trying to chase this thing. So, you know, what do we just consolidate here and go? Very possible, but if we get some kind of pullback anywhere in the market, could I get into something like that? That's what I'm thinking. So, yeah, this was a weird one. Usually I get paid, I take a little off of something and I feel good about it. Today I just was like, well, it was not good. So, but you know, following my plan, which is ultimately to like hold this thing to like $50, but then that little voice in my head that's like, pay yourself. So I did a tiny bit of that, but I think I'm done now as far as that. I really actually would like to, like, I don't know, not double my position, but like certainly add a bit to it. There's so much faith in this one. I think it's going to be a very, very strong play in 2022, especially if not, you know, through the end of the year. Okay. Can you provide a reason why CRV never rallies? Yeah, John Bartolini. I don't know the exact dynamics with CRV inflation, but there is a lot. But look, it looks good. It's funny that your sentiment is right where it is right now. I actually sold some this week. I don't know where it was. Like I bought through here, you know, held through here, and then like I sold a little at like 274 because I don't know. Maybe I oversized. I got too excited by Messi talking about, you know, farm life. And then I looked at my farm and I was like, damn, man, like, there's a lot of capital in there percentage-wise. Like, I'd rather take half that out and ride, you know, trade a little more. It's going to be a volatile market, but this chart looks good. Get a little shrinkage there. Okay, this chart looks good, and I'll tell you why. Inflation and rewards aside and all that, which is perhaps why this thing's just been consolidating. But look, dudes, consolidations, the longer they are, if they do break out, the bigger the move that follows, usually. And so that's exciting to think about. Let's get a little trend line here, see how we're doing coming out of there. Like, right, breakout, nice volume rising up after a nasty little move down and through the reload zone. Retest, confluent PCZ, throwbacks, all that stuff, and now the bulls are coming back. So if I was a betting man, I'd say this thing's going to look like a fib extension sometime later this year. I mean, the whole market seems to be setting up little things like this. CRV is a particularly strong one, and you also got to remember it's multi-chain now. All right, they're going to launch on AVAX. They're probably going to launch. They're certainly going to launch on Arbitrum. ETH L2s, like they're in that multi-chain meta, if you will. Spell, Ice, you know, the homie Daniel Siesta, the thing he doesn't ever do, take a nap. Sesta. So like, Curve is multi-chain, DeFi powerhouse, and you know all that inflation rewards. I don't really understand all that, but I'll tell you this is a bullish chart. I already missed the little bit I sold the other day, but I used it to buy more Spell and some other stuff, so probably gonna be okay. Speaking of Spell, great segue. Let's go check out Spell and Sushi. Oh my god. Yeah. So this one's just ridiculous. Out of the ballpark. You know, TRI perspective, is this like the quiet market I like to load up in? No. This is a parabolic advance. So I need to do a few things. First of all, be patient with myself if I wanted to add more, right? Did add a little bit this week, but you know, on dips, lower time frames, just building a bit of a position. But look, I don't even know what to say about this one. It's just like, it's a fundamental play for me. I think what they've done with Abracadabra, MIM, Magic Internet Money, you know, I'm more basing this on valuations. I'm not really thinking about the chart too much. I just think it's incredibly undervalued on the whole, and not like that weird utility token again, like 2017, where it's like there's just really no value behind the token. I mean, this, you can borrow at 1%, 0.5%. You can leverage and collateralize your assets that are yielding in the background while you then take that other funds and loop it into something else. I mean, it's an incredibly powerful tool. It's multi-chain, and it's well connected. You know, there's a lot of, you know, it's not just like somebody built it on the side and is like, hey, hopefully somebody uses this. Like, people are using it. Whales are using it. They're backing it. They're excited about it. And I don't really know that there's too many other competitors out there, if any. Certainly none with the name brand. So that's my take on Spell. It just looks great. But will there be pullbacks? Will there be moments where the people who just raced in to buy the top and created huge wicks are underwater and then puking their bags, and that creates a nice fat, you know, quick pullback, and then we consolidate for a bit? And yeah, like, it's gonna, nothing goes straight up. Or does it? FOMO. I don't think so. But I'm not trying to play these swings as much as just accumulate. And we'll see what it looks like when it's, you know, a billion, couple billion market cap is kind of what I'm thinking. And just announced another burn of tokens as well. So that's pretty exciting. CRV, yeah, this chart looks good. Damn, it just looks like spring loaded. Oh, there's so much of that going in the market. It's very hard to be selective. First time on the stream. Yeah, sure. Sheep on drugs. I like your name. Sounds like it'd be funny. Sheep on drugs. So SHIB is awake. Damn. Yeah. No, I've been hearing about SHIB. I don't really trade dog tokens, as you guys know, for worse. I say for better or worse, but we know it's for worse because they've just been, you know, they go hard when they go. SHIB, something announced. They announced something like a swap or some DeFi thing. I don't know. SHIB's doing stuff. They're not just a name anymore. And they went ham. So I don't really know what to tell you about this. Thoughts on Doge? Yeah, like, should Doge, you know, echo, is this dog season rally, or is this simply a catalyst for SHIB that for now is going to just stay in SHIB town? It did kind of come in here, and there was some chaos. Not like a perfect ping like I like to see, but those are never what you expect to see. They're just nice to haves, not must haves. Yeah, like the volume's pretty consistently up, but it does look like it's just going to do a big stupid rally. I don't know that there's a trade here for me. In fact, I know there isn't, unless perhaps I was trying to chase this. I don't know why I would. There's just, yeah, nice reload here. Nice PCZ action. So that's your safer entry, right? Where it's like, oh, look at the big rally. I missed it. No, you didn't. Park here. Looks like a lot of people did that. And we'll just see, you know, does it trickle up, trickle down, or does it consolidate and continue? If I was a betting man, I'd say it's probably going to consolidate, continue. Look, the market's just incredibly bullish right now. There's froth. And there's, you know, more reason why it's important to be very selective with where I'm going to deploy capital. I need things that are moving. I need things that have strong narratives, strong user growth, great tokenomics, team that I can trust. There is 8,000 different ways to lose money in crypto, based on where you place it. This one seems to have a lot of that going for it, but I don't know why. It's just a weird one. I just never really want to buy it. I'm a snob, and I'll stay poor because of it. And then, yeah, like Dogecoin 1 moves, you better keep an eye on Dogecoin 2. Doge, oh, where's old ink on the chart here? 4 hour, probably want a daily. You know, Doge had its like insane run though, and that's the thing. Like when you get just like a long consolidation leads to a huge run leads to a very long consolidation. Like this was monstrous, absolutely ridiculous. Like look at this. And so it doesn't mean it has to come all the way back down here. That's equally ridiculous. But don't, you know, I'm not rushing to expect more. In fact, usually, you know, this thing won't move until everyone's lost complete interest, because that thing just ripped. And I always like to go back to HBAR. For somebody who hasn't heard me comment on that before, let's go look at HBAR. Oh God, it's so tiny now. That's crazy. This is the rally I'm talking about. Holy shit, I love this stuff. So look, there's another example. Like this was the start of 2020. This was the trade that started off my year after I reset my portfolio after the bear market and was kind of on my knees and said like, I really need to make it right now. Like this, I can't fuck around anymore. This was the trade that set me off. I'll never forget it. But look at this since. That's cool. Anyways, coming back here, you know, when we traded this thing and like, well, okay, you know, W along the bottom, little breakout. Let's see what this is good for. Google announced a partnership. And so it's like, yeah, man, like HBAR is the future. But this rally, that was like 800% in a market that was not moving like that at all. The start of 2020 coming out of the bear market. You know, you come up here, get into that short reload zone. Like that was an exit for anyone who didn't get out of the, you know, out of the initial right here. They cut bait and run. But the point is, like, this thing just moved sideways for an entire year. And there was rallies through the market while this was happening. But, you know, HBAR never got to experience that. The idea being that the pump, so to speak, the rally here was just too big, too ridiculous. And so those things take a lot of time to clean up. You know, buying, selling, I'm buying, I'm selling. People jockeying in and out of position. Like even here, you know, you get faked out up around 5-6 cents. But no, we're going to go down. And you know, and it wasn't until you completely lose interest and you know, go figure, probably get into some kind of like reload zone sweet spot, and then it just, you know, so oh no, why is it you push spacebar and it just goes to like a random chart, and now we're just on ocean. What is going on? Oh, story time's over, kids. TradingView, your hotkeys suck. I don't even know where I am right now. Okay, just like the Matrix just took me away. I feel very sad. I was really into that HBAR story. Oh well. Point is, that was an entire year before it was cool again. So is that the case with Doge? Probably. That'd be my take. Yeah, let's look at DOT. I keep hearing about DOT. I had some DOT. I sold some DOT. Now DOT's moving. It's not out of my wheelhouse yet. I think there's still room for me to get interested, but you can see where I would want to get interested, right? Right in the pieces Z. But look, the other way to trade, the other way to trade it, wait till we're trading back above that key level, which we are now. Even a little retest here, starting to move. Can I dollar cost average into that? Yep. Now, because Bitcoin looks so good, if I'm going to go use USDT that I have right now, or USD, whatever, I need to look at the Bitcoin chart. Like, let's start here. Bitcoin ETF lurking sounds like it's going to be approved because it's either that or it's like a insider, like, buy the rumors, sell the news. It doesn't get approved, but more than likely, I think that there's some people who already have a really good feeling about that and just kind of know. That's what the chart looks like. And, other entities buying, loading up, like it just feels like there's this FOMO about to hit the market and a whole new leg. So if that's the case, then any altcoin I'm going to buy right now better look good versus Bitcoin, because otherwise I'll just pick up Bitcoin at any price. I'd love to wait for my zones. I'll get my throwbacks. Yeah. But, I'd rather pick up Bitcoin wherever it is right now in general than like ape into like a nice little buy area on a chart if it's trending down versus Bitcoin. Does that make sense? I don't know. Not saying you should do that. That's just kind of where I'm at right now. Don't really care. I want to be long on the fastest horse, and I do think it's Bitcoin. So I guess that's my issue with DOT right now. It could go really nice versus Bitcoin, versus USD. But does that look like a chart where like I should be getting long? So it depends. It really depends on trading plans. Some people live in USD, trade out, trade back in, trade out, trade back in, don't care about what coin it is, don't care about Bitcoin exposure. Cool. And that worked really well all year because Bitcoin dominance went down. But if we're heading into a different pivot, a different moment, even if that only lasts 4 or 6 weeks, and we get up to here at 49, 50%, I think there's a pretty good chance that a lot of the altcoin versus Bitcoin pairs end up with something like this. It's not that big a move. I'm gonna hold my DOT, lose 20% of my Bitcoin value. It's just scary to me because I've been in situations where I thought of this, and then it gets down here, and then it's like, oh, like Turkey adopts Bitcoin as legal tender. Oh, and then it's like, and then it's like, ooh, China unbans Bitcoin. Like, you just never know. So saying, I know this looks bearish, but I'm just going to hold on to it because this is probably where it's going to bottom. I've learned not to do that during the bear market because there was no bottom. I don't think that's going to happen to DOT at all, but that's why I'm not going to long it yet. It's trending down. So we'll see. We'll see what this looks. This is a nice little buy volume coming in. Is it like this? Do we get a continuation? Cool. Polkadot coming. Yeah, maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. All I know is I have less Bitcoin than I would like on a percentage basis, and all I'm really thinking about is how to fix that. Because whatever happens here, if I do get where I would like to really load, and I think I will, I think there's a pretty good chance that we'll get something like this, or something like this. There's a gap here on the VPVR, so like coming into the bottom end of that, like that's normal stuff, 50K. And then I'd like to be buying that to prepare for liftoff if we can get it. Not as excited about taking new size in new altcoins. Having said that, I'm not rushing to cut all the ones I have, right? We talked about the ones I have, ICE, Spell. Those are revenue generating, passive income coins. And they don't trade on a CEX right now versus Bitcoin. So they're going to be a little insulated from that. BTC makes its move, ETH moves, trends better against BTC. Yeah, we'll see, man. The ETH BTC pair is one to keep an eye on. It's an important one. We're getting to the top of the hour here, guys, on a Friday afternoon. Hope you guys have some fun stuff planned for this weekend. It's Thanksgiving here in Canada, so I'll be out of town doing a little fam jamming. Probably spending some time staring at my phone because, let's be honest, attention is valuable in this market. And what I need to do is fix my mobile shit. last time I went away, I couldn't get MetaMask to connect properly to my ledger on my Mac, like my laptop, and I missed the parallel drop. I didn't miss it entirely, but I was all trying to figure it out, and I ended up only getting like 2 packs out of the 6 or whatever it was, 9. So sad face. Speaking of which, there's a parallel drop coming up in like 21 days. Don't be late. It's gonna sell out in 7.5 seconds. God, there's so many coins, guys. If you guys have DM'd me, by the way, on Twitter, I apologize. I'm not really checking DMs right now. I've got like 8 different 1,000 chats, pings, all these things, and frankly, I'm finding it really overwhelming, and I need to spend more time with my family. So don't take it personally. If I do get a moment, maybe over the weekend, I'll have a few drinks and I'll just pick through those. But yeah, I'm just prioritizing focus on the market, mental health, and family. So if you are sitting in my DMs and you're like, this asshole thinks he's so important, it's not that. I just, priorities. Having said that, I am pretty active in the Trading Pit Discord. So if I'm sitting there and I'm chatting and you just pop in with a question like, hey, what about this chart, or what do you think of that? And I'm there, I'm all yours. We'll talk, we'll chat, we'll hang out. But sometimes too, you just get DMs from people that are like, hey, walk me through this. Hey, walk me through that. Like it's a one-on-one tutorial. And I'm just like, bro, there's no way. Even if I had no job, it's asking a lot for somebody with a new kid. I'm not saying you're wrong to ask, but I will not be responding to that one. With love from RT. So just like real talk, you gotta understand that there's a ton going on in the market, and I'm managing, a lot of different positions and blah, blah, blah. And, fam jam stuff. So just be aware of that. It's not personal. One last thing we're going to look at today. What's it going to be? All right, Josh Jacobs, you win. It's going to be Seller. Now, Seller's interesting because we spotted it on stream. I was like, we spotted it. We called it. No, but I'll show you what I spotted on stream like a while ago. And I thought this was interesting. It's probably great. It was weekly. Yeah, it was this here. What was it? Talking to Dan and Gunny and Messiah were on the stream. So it was back in March, like really early in the stream. And it was this confirmation of like a weekly breakout right here. And I think it was like up here. And I was like, damn, this thing's going to go. And I forget why. We were kind of thinking like it was feeling bearish at the time in the market. Maybe it was on this side coming down, April. And I just remember thinking like, I don't care what happens, but on this dip after this confirmation, like this thing is going to rip. And I did what I always do, which is just look left and stop paying attention to that one. But it was picture perfect, right? Just get up there, slide down into the reload zone. I don't know what this wick was. That's a really weird anomaly. But even if you just took like maybe a more relevant right here, just right into that reload zone, guys. This is why like during these kinds of rallies, no matter what asset it is, eventually people want to get paid. People who FOMO bought the top will puke and dump at a loss. Then it'll have to consolidate. And it often consolidates into this kind of level. So a lot of guys telling me about coins are like, oh yeah, man, this thing's the shit. It's going to be so good. I'm like, cool, but it's like a pie in the sky right now. I'm not buying it. I'll buy it when it gets down into something like this. And if it doesn't, I'll buy something else that is. As a trader, I fall more in love with levels and things like that than I do with narratives of the actual coin. I just want to get things in my zone. So anyways, yeah, what does it look like? It looks like really good. The only knock on it is like all this rallying and like less volume than back here. It's not great. Doesn't mean it's like done, but it's not ideal. But we can zoom in. We can see maybe if there's like, yeah. See, and we talk about this a lot, right? Nice new highs in volume, price moving up. Lower volume, less buyers. Objectively, that just tells us there are less buyers suddenly that are interested in buying at these higher levels, which usually is a signal that price needs to come back down and look for buyers. Find out where the buyers do get interested again. Where does that volume tick up again? Are we there now? We got a couple little green bars, nothing huge, but could be. And then exactly how to you know, how to get into that. We're coming into that reload zone area. We can use this new low here because there was a consolidation and a W and a breakout. So this is kind of like a new range for me. And we're getting into that zone. So it works again, right? Like instead of getting like, oh my God, seller, I'm going to buy some. Like volume's falling off. Wait. Get into some of these levels, you know. Maybe that's it. Maybe a dollar cost average, so I don't care if that's it or not. You know, maybe this low is going to get swept on the sweet spot tag, and then we're going to consolidate through here for a month or two, and then we go. That's usually how markets go. If you need evidence of that, look right here. Wing, reload zone, wing, reload zone, wing, reload zone. Like, you just don't get to go straight up because everyone at each level has their thing. You know, they want to sell, then there's new buyers that didn't get to buy, blah, 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 and we get the zigzag. So seller looks really good, looks really strong, and frankly it's coming into levels that are suddenly interesting again after that massive rally it had through September. I have no idea what it does though. I'd be curious to know if it's going to be in this like L1 party. BK, thanks man, appreciate you too. We did a fantasy draft last night. I picked a shit team. I was messing around like, oh, I'm a trader. I'm going to just, like, it was an auction draft. I was like, I'm just going to bid up these players because I know other guys want them. And then they just let me have them. And they were just guys I didn't want. And I overspent and nuked my account, my budget. But that's okay. I'd rather focus on crypto, completely honest. But I'll take a look at hockey like once or twice a week, set my lineups. I feel like every minute I spend thinking about that is like a minute lost over here. And obviously the potential gains are much higher here. So boring, but it's true. I used to love fantasy hockey. That's where I put all my crypto energy before crypto. Always top 3 at the end of the year, top 4, but now I'm just like dead last. I'm a boomer. Okay, guys, we are going to go wrap it up here in a sec. I say this every time. It's like Friday. I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to cap myself an hour and a half, and then I just run for 2.5 hours. I'm exhausted, and I have to like nap all night. So we are going to start wrapping up. If you have other things you're asking about, you're interested about, get into the Hxro Labs Discord, the trading pit. There's a lot of guys in there. First of all, there's a lot of guys in there who understand the charts the same way I do, that have been learning, along with me in there. And I'm more and more impressed each week with their charts. So getting in there and just being like, hey, what's the PCZ on this coin? Like, you can ask questions. Some guys might help you out. Maybe they want to practice themselves. I'll be in there. A lot of times I've got Discord up. It's my number 2. I've got 2 real Discords that I hang out in, and that's one of them. So I will be in there hanging out, presumably a little bit tonight, maybe. But I will be away this weekend and eating a lot of turkey and passing out and feeling fat. So it's going to be great. If you guys are celebrating this weekend, happy Thanksgiving. If not, just have a good weekend. Trade safely, play from strength, and let's hope we can be done with these like Monday morning open fears and massive nukes. And look, if I can get long on Bitcoin at 50K, 48K in that PCZ, then I think Q4 is going to look really nice for whatever I can pick up there on the spot. Not really looking to leverage Bitcoin on the higher time frames yet, unless we see one of those crazy nukes that wipes out all the open interest and resets the books. And if I happen to be looking at it that day, at that moment, I might start layering in some really like deep liquidation cross positions where it's like your liquidation price is $8,000. That kind of exposure on the leverage side during an OI wipeout. I would like to get one of those because there will be. They will wipe the books a few times this bull market if we get one. And I'd like to be long. Ironically, right? It's during those like $11 billion liquidation cascades where everyone's like, oh, see, leverage is dangerous. Never touch leverage. Ironically, it's at that exact moment, at that depth and low, if you're in a strong bullish trend, that leverage is the least risky. Can't believe I just said that live in the air, but it's true. But generally, you don't need leverage in this market. Seriously, all coins are leverage. Bitcoin moves 4%, they move 25%. Like, they are pre-leveraged products. But those are my thoughts. Whatever you do from now until next time, guys, always play from a position of strength. Take care.